29th Cumberland County Commissioners Workshop meeting. Please rise. Pledge allegiance by saying,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can call this meeting to order, please, at 9 a.m. First, open the floor to public comment. Hearing none, seeing none, let's move on to number 3, employee recognition. Tricia Frick, 25 years of service. Commissioner Cross and Lee.
Please come up. This chair out, maybe this one too. So Tricia, 25 years, started out at Criminal Records, went to, I think, executive secretary, and now for administration coordinator. So 25 years of service. Thank you so very much. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, not so much the years of service, but I would say the number of DAs. Has been how many? Don't even know. 3 DAs.
Who was the best one?
But in fact, who those characters were. So, again, congratulations on behalf of the board. Look forward to many years of service to the county. Sir.
Commissioners, thank you for, really on behalf of our office, for this recognition. You can see a lot of Tricia's colleagues are here. Support her. The best ideas that we get in our office, particularly as it relates to administration, comes from our staff. And in particular, Tricia deals with a lot of our systems, our technology, really spends a lot of time dealing with our outside vendors and providers, so that I don't have to. And frankly, I don't know that I'd be able to, because the wealth of knowledge that she's gained over the last 25 years is really staggering. You know, just about everybody that works for us in a clerical sense could be doing something else and be doing very well. And we're incredibly fortunate to have them. Tricia, it was amazing that you started work with us when you were 10. And it really says a lot about you as a person. But I think this is a great recognition. It's hard to believe that we did this 5 years ago, and then 5 years have passed. But it's Tricia has only grown in her work in the office and her valued assistance. So thank you for the recognition.
Thank you. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations. Item number 4, eyeball on. The effervescent Bob and Rosa review the January 2015 Declaration of Voluntary Separation and Benefit Contribution to the plan year ending March 31st, 2015.
Commissioners, as part of the IRS requirements for the voluntary separation plan, when participants become eligible for the contribution, the governing body is required to declare the contribution for those individuals. The way we have it written in our plan is that at first commissioner meeting, board commissioner meeting of every month, we will declare the contribution for the participants who retired the prior month. So January is the first month that we've had participants retire. So at the meeting on February 2nd, I will provide you with the final language that needs to be
Written into the minutes.
written into the minutes, to ensure compliance with that.
Okay. That's good.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Solicitor, that's good.
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on to item number 5, Solicitor Brennan. Review letter from solicitor regarding Cumberland County Tax Claim Bureau repository sale consent.
Commissioners, a letter was sent to you by me on behalf of the Tax Claim Bureau seeking your consent to sell properties that are in the repository of unsold properties. And you have bid amounts with those specific properties, and we just need to close the loop by having your consent to do that. That should be done by motion.
number 6, call on John Locke, request to authorize advertising for bids for the refuse removal for county buildings.
Yes, Commissioners, would like to request your authorization to advertise for bids for the trash and recycling removal for county facilities.
Any questions? I'd like the record to note that John has quite the sweater on. Item number 7, call on Solicitor Brennan and myself. Review cooperation agreement between County of Cumberland and Cumberland County Industrial Development Authority and the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program grant for Army Heritage Center Foundation project, which is tabled at the Board of Commissioners meeting on May 24th.
I'm trying to work out the details of some changes to the agreement that was presented to commissioners. I'm very close to doing that. Just had communication with the attorney for the Industrial Development Authority this morning, and I expect to have that ready for your meeting on Monday.
Keith, how is this different than, we've done a number of these RACP grants before. Is this something that was missing before, or is this a different animal?
No, there was items missing from the agreement presented to us
Okay.
that were typically in prior agreements, whether it was with APAC alone or the redevelopment authority,
I see.
that I'm looking to put in this agreement.
Okay, so this is a unique situation then. We're just,
It is not, in my opinion, it's not.
no, I mean, in terms of what we are addressing, it is unique from the other circumstances surrounding the previous RCAP.
It is not.
It is not.
Right. What is in the agreement that I'm seeking to have placed in is consistent with previous agreements with funding that involved APAC directly and, as an example, the redevelopment authority.
So this is
So
not
what came
measured.
to us was not consistent with other ones we've seen.
That's exactly right.
Right.
And
So this is.
who initiated that?
The
What part of
Industrial
it?
Development Authority.
So the IDA brought a change, a different agreement,
That's correct.
okay, than we had previously seen in other projects.
That is right.
So
Okay.
this is different than, this is, my term was unique, but this is different than the previous things we have seen in regards to RACP grants.
And we're trying to make it the same as the
So
others.
the consistency will be for all the projects that come before us for our county,
That's
or
correct.
whatever term they're trying to use. Okay. Now, let me ask this, there's no delay in any expenditures or dollars or line or any of this
No.
that we as a board would be accused of holding up
No.
in this?
No.
Okay.
Their deadline is, I think, the latter part of March.
Okay, so there's sufficient time.
Yes.
All right. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments?
Just another question I have is, so the items that are missing, would you characterize those as safeguards for the county?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to turn it over to Sandy Wong for contracts and agreements.
Good morning, everyone. We'll begin with Lynette McCullough discussing 2 agreements between CNRC and Dynatech Industries, followed by Modesto Operations Inc. Lynette?
Dynatech, that is the emergency generator PM services. It's the same price as last year, no increase. It's $2,390 a year. The second one is the Sodexo operations. We are combining 2 of our previous existing contracts for the environmental services and the dietary into one contract. The dietary portion has the annual 2% increase on it. The environmental side is just a changing from the fiscal to calendar, but it's the same pricing for the calendar year of 15, excuse me. And in that realignment and combination of the 2 contracts, we're getting 1 additional management employee that would be Sodexo's. So it's going from 5 to 6 Sodexo employees.
For the same price.
For the 2% increase, but yes, for the same price, that is correct. Any questions?
Thank you, Lynette. Next, we'll have Lindsay Miller discuss the following 5 children and youth services agreements as follows. National Mental Health Care LLC doing business as Pennsylvania Mentor. Priestley Ridge, Family Care for Children and Youth Inc. Concern, and Cody's Family Services Claim.
Okay, good morning. These are all foster care programs, and I'm happy to report most of them are at 0% increase. So Pennsylvania Mentor, foster care, 0%. Presley Ridge actually has several decreases, 4.81 and 6.61 decrease in 2 of their programs. Family Care for Children and Youth, 0% increase. Concern has a number of new services that we just have not utilized in the past, but we've found that a lot of their programs align with how we would prefer to work with families, so we've added them.
Where are they operating out of?
Reading, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew they were central, but I wasn't sure if they were as far as works.
They just look at a lot of philosophical stances that align with those. So the one program that we did have is a 1.01% increase. And then Kobe's, another foster care program, 0%. Questions?
Thank you, Wendy. Jack Carroll will discuss the agreement between Drug and Alcohol and Community Behavioral Health Care Network of PA doing business as a Jack?
Morning, Commissioners. This is our contract with CBHNP, which operates under the name of Perform Care. They serve as the behavioral health managed care company for our regional and 5-county health choices program. Our current contract with them runs through June 30th of 2016. You may recall, though, that a short while ago, our contract with DPW, now known as Department of Human Services, was amended to do a couple things. One, to accommodate the implementation of Healthy PA, Pennsylvania's version of Medicaid expansion, and also to update the program standards and requirements. So having had that amendment to the DPW contract, was a need to amend this contract as well to reflect those changes. As with all of our health choices contracts, we rely on the expertise of a contracted attorney. And Lawrence Davis, our legal counsel, actually developed this particular amendment. And it has been submitted to Solicitor Redmond for his review. Unless he has any objections, our recommendation is to approve it.
Any questions, Jack? Thank you, Jack. Next, we will have agreements from Facility Management, and there will be Diamond Automatic Sprinklers Inc. in Kent and John Rock Asbestos.
Yes, the first contract is for Automatic Sprinklers. It's the annual sprinkler inspection for the prison, new courthouse and swing, HSB, 911, and record storage. The total amount of the contract is $6,300.
I'm sorry.
$6,300.
Thanks.
The Kent contract is a fire suppression contract for the 911 building, and that's for the clean agent inspection and the kitchen suppression inspection. And that's a 3-year contract, and the total amount of the contract is $8,580, which is $2,860 annually.
Thank you, John. Next, we'll have Earl discussing the agreement between the prison and Global Health Land Co-op.
Morning, Coach. This agreement with GTL is a continued agreement for provision of a inmate telephone system. It's a revenue agreement. With this new agreement, commissions will increase from 48.75% to 50%. And along with the agreement at no cost to Cumberland County, GTL will upgrade our offender management system from the legacy system that we're using now to a web-based version, which is going to become more flexible for us. Our imaging system is going to be upgraded as well. We're going to receive additional lobby kiosks for the convenience of visitors to the jail, for them putting money in their accounts. And we're also going to receive continued maintenance and support for all these systems for the life of the agreement, which is 5 years.
Any questions for Earl? Thank you, Earl.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Bob Shaw to discuss the agreement between public safety and mission critical partnership. Bob?
Requesting approval for an addendum to the Mission Critical Partners contract for the shared assessment submission. It's only a date change to February 28th, no additional cost. We just needed to extend the date so that they can incorporate comments and changes and do the final submission to FEMA in coordination with the wireless funding application.
And we're going to know, or as soon as you know, we'll know on FEMA's acceptance of regionalization plans and all. I raised that question the other day.
Yeah, when they...
And I'm raising it again in this public forum to see when those changes will be made and if that plan will be accepted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Justin Miller discussing agreements between recycling and waste in New Orleans Township, Mechanicsburg Borough, Shippensburg Borough, Silver Spring Township, and South Middleton Township. Justin?
Good morning. These are 5 additional agreements identical to the ones I presented to you last workshop, just different participants. I'm pleased to report that I think I've noticed a positive impact of the agreement already. I think it's causing participants to analyze every aspect of their operation, look for efficiencies and improvements. As a matter of fact, the one machine is going to be moved later here this morning, which is ahead of schedule. In the past, it's usually been behind schedule, so I'm pleased with the way things are going.
Any questions for Justin? Thank you, Justin. And Michelle Seibert will discuss the sub-grant award letter. Michelle?
They're giving us $125,000. This is just the final letter to sign and acceptance. As you can see, the letter is dated January 9th. We were CC'd, but I don't know if it ever made it to the solicitor. So if you are inclined to sign today, that would be great because we are getting alerts that it's overdue. If it waits until Monday, that's fine. But it's money that you've already approved. Now they're giving it to us, but it's just the final letter you have to sign and acceptance.
We'll put it on the agenda for Monday.
Thank you, Sandy. Item number 9, calling on Lots discussion of capital project request, Siemens building renovation.
Yes, Commissioners, this is the building automation system for the nursing home. We had previously discussed this in the finance meeting, and as far as discussion, this system, we currently have a Barbara Coleman system down there that's obsolete. It's run off an MS-DOS system. As far back as 2005, we were making plans to replace that system. We laid the foundation with a Siemens Apogee system, and we also implemented a countywide Siemens system that includes all the county buildings. By upgrading to the Siemens systems, it will help integrate the nursing home into the countywide system, and it would also allow the system to run in conjunction with the new Siemens control system that was currently installed in the rehab system and in the rehab project. The current energy savings estimate, if this is implemented, is $31,656 a year. The total cost of the project recommended is $398,863.38. This also, we also generate revenue from the generator demand response program. I think Dana had presented an average of about $7,800 in savings in revenue per year. Running the generators throws havoc into the Barbara Coleman system, and the Siemens system that's already there, as far as the foundation, they're having trouble communicating together. So by eliminating the Barbara Coleman and the MS-DOS system, which is obsolete, we can integrate this and bring this up to 2004 to 15 and make it current with the rest of the county.
And the life expectancy of this new system would be?
15 to 20 years with software upgrades.
How soon can they, assuming that it's approved, how soon before they start?
We were talking to them, and that all depends on what we do as a county. We could give them a letter of intent to start. Right now, the temperatures are all under control. Any problems we have with temperatures, we were taking care of them manually with the MSDOT system. So as far as approval, the sooner the better. And it is a 6-month project, so it is a very, very extensive project where they're going to be placing all the wiring and all the devices and controls.
Do you have to poke holes in the roof?
Yes. There'll be about 6 or 8 penetrations to the roof. The county will be responsible for those repairs once the penetrations are made, and that's to make sure the warranties stay in place, and we use a certified roofing contractor to fix that.
Thank you. Any questions?
Comments? One, the disruptiveness to residents, is this phased? Is this evening? I mean, I would imagine perhaps not, because those would want to be sleeping. So is this a staggered
It is.
project?
This is a phased-in project, that's why it's a 6-month project. And we started in areas like the gift shop, which has no impact on the residents.
Limited impact.
But we're being told by Siemens there'll be limited impact on any of the residents, and we'll be monitoring that on a daily basis between me and Brad King, who's the facilities manager down at the nursing home.
Especially within the sort of kitchen area, dining room, those kind of areas. All right.
There will be some downtime, obviously, but we'll be monitoring that and making sure it doesn't fall below for the periods of time that we're expected from DOH or life safety.
Like I say, is there a letter to or an intent that has to go before DOH to simply say that disruptiveness is going to take place and we're under construction and so on and so forth?
I'm not sure about that,
Okay.
but I think there may be, and if there is,
A preemptive opportunity for them to be alerted that this is going on at the facility.
we usually let them know when we're doing something like that, like
Okay.
whether it's a fire alarm system or anything like that. So we'll probably do a letter.
Especially life safety.
Right.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments for John? Thank you, sir. Item number 10, purchase order, bid opening for the Cumberland County Y9, Y17 bridge repairs, recommendation to award contract, Clearwater Construction Inc.
Thanks, Larry. Commissioners, on January 15th, in a very crowded C2 room, we opened bids for repairs to Conkle Bridge in South Middleton Township and Bishop Bridge in Upper Allen Township. We had 7 bidders. The highest bidder was at $383,000 and $547. $383,547. The low bidder was at $80,575. That was Clearwater Construction out of Mercer, PA. We have worked with them before. They've done good work for us before. Our engineer's opinion was $81,000. So again, I believe we've worked with HRG for quite a while. They're doing a great job and represent us, and the shares or estimates are generally pretty solid.
Any explanation on the enormous disparity?
$250,000 almost?
Right, we're not sure. I mean, sometimes I think when you see these projects, folks, if they don't have the time, they may bid on them just to put their hat in the ring, and if it sticks, it sticks. Clearly, they're out.
I'm confident it's not a problem under our specs.
Not at all. The other bidders, the other 5 bidders were all in the low hundreds to high 90s, so I think they were all in order.
It may have been the raw bar that they were going to.
So what we're asking for your consideration on Monday, then, Commissioners, would be the recommendation to award the contract to Clearwater Construction. In advance of this, and try to keep things moving, I had HRG send an intent to award letter to Clearwater Construction, get their contracting documents, which then we share with the solicitor for his review. So we're ahead of the game in that we're hopeful that those contract documents may be back before Monday's meeting, so that then we could get the contract and everything moved. 60 days completion date for the project. So as soon as we issue notice of receipt, we have 60 days to complete it. And that would give our residents some much needed relief in South Middleton Township and Upper Allen Township for these closures.
And even with the weather, no problem?
No, the type of work we're doing is really not impacted a whole lot. There could be some small delays, but we're confident we can get it done.
And Bishop is shared?
That's correct.
Okay.
Bishop, the cost of Bishop Bridge is shared 50% for the county.
Any other questions for Kurt? Thank you. Commissioners' liaison reports.
Couple things. Children and Youth Advisory Board met, and the continuing discussion, as you can imagine, is centered on the changes for the reporting regulations on child abuse and the impact the new regulations will have. This topic is going to be presented during a department head meeting next week. I'm pleased, though, that Cumberland will be receiving through Act 148 about $46,000 in reimbursements for 2012 and 13. Conservation District, that Tuesday morning, Board of Directors and officers will remain the same for 15, but we will be now, for the year, holding our meetings in the evening. The first check arrived for the dirt gravel road project. South Middleton will be the first, and the project in Mount Holly, I believe, will be the second, beginning this fall, sometime in October. A manure management workshop is taking place even as we speak today, and another will be held next month. Since this was the first meeting of the year, the departments and cooperating agencies made their end-of-year reports, and I have available those PowerPoints if anyone would like a copy. Justin has left, but there's an ongoing coordinated effort with recycling and waste and the Conservation District to provide some drop-off days for some items. The Conservation Board authorized a $5,000 contribution to recycling and waste to help with deferring those costs. The Envirothon that will be held later on this year, I'm pleased to report too that all 9 school districts this year have been scheduled to participate. Penn State Ag Extension Director Dave Schwartz gave an outstanding presentation. I've got a copy of that on ag and the economic outlook, not just for this area, but regionally, globally, and some very, very interesting comments he made. There's before the solicitor's office a draft MOU that I'd like to acknowledge Dana, who's not here today, but our finance director helps Conservation District significantly work on this. 22 counties have in place MOUs with their conservation districts, and once finalized, it will be brought to the commissioners for consideration and a signature. Drug and Alcohol Commission is going to meet next week, as is the Stop Violence Task Force that Michelle talked about. County Governors Committee continues to work through the Executive Director regarding the legislation to reform the 911 funding. And on a community project, I'd like to acknowledge that both the United Way of Capital Region and the United Way of Carlisle and Cumberland exceeded their goals for last year. That's all I have. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Commissioner Eichelberg.
Just a handful of items. We had the NHID board meeting was this week, and a presentation on competitive employment. That seemed to be the main topic. Larry, you were there. Was there anything additional?
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. That was
NHID. What was that?
That was libraries. Wasn't it?
No.
It's all one thing.
It was about anybody who had, Sylvia brought it up. It's the issue of people who have health-related information on a database that was web-based.
Oh, right. Okay.
To address that.
Yeah, because there's new requirements on that. Of course, we had some experience with that in the past as well with the redevelopment authority. So there's new standards there on cybersecurity and some corrective actions that are going to be needed in the near future on that as well. Library system, the discussion centered, other than the regular reporting out, centered again on the progression of the facilitation plan. Each of the commissioners has met, and I guess we're into active implementation of the data gathering component at this time. We had a pretty impressive discussion on some of the community panels that are going to be employed there, and some of the folks who've agreed to take part. It's going to be a significant effort. We're fortunate to have a lot of talent participating in the initiative, so I think in the end it should be a very useful exercise. Certainly much more ambitious than what's implied by the contract that counties engage with the facilitator, and the $7,500 is that really tends to minimize just how significant the effort underway is. So we're getting our money's worth, in my opinion, but that, of course, will depend on the final result when it's done. The planning, I believe Kirk has pretty much briefed us directly on most of the planning issues that affect us. I will note that we had very nice, I felt a successful public input session regarding Morris Bridge replacement last week. How many people do you think?
We had 50 sign in, a couple of people.
Oh,
I think there were more than 50
Yeah.
people in that room. Well, they came and went,
Yeah.
so you may have captured everybody, but
I think they came, did the pizza and then left. but-
the cookies were
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
food there?
Oh, sorry, sir, we forgot to,
Okay. Porch Bridge, we did. Recycling was canceled last week. I found out when I walked in the door, unfortunately, at 7 o'clock in the evening. But the only item really was the agreements that Justin's already addressed to us, so we'll have a board meeting next month, I'm sure.
I didn't want to interrupt them and tell them you got $5,000 of conservation easement, but I think Penn State Ag, I think they matched that too. But I'll check that.
Any comments or questions for Commissioner Eichelberger? Thank you. Item number 12, I'd like to report on executive sessions. One on January 23rd, 2015 at 10:30 a.m. Another on January 26th, 2015 at 2 p.m. regarding personnel issues. I would further like to request for an executive session regarding personnel issues. Is there any other business? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.